Welcome to Pie's Bakery. We hope you have a wonderful stay.
Hello everyone, and welcome to RPG A Day 2024. I'm a little late on some of these days, so I'm combining two of them into one video. Those two being Amazing Adventure and Classic Campaign. I figured it works pretty well to combine these two into one video. We're going to start with Amazing Adventure. Fun fact, both of these answers are going to be Call of Cthulhu related. So we will start with Amazing Adventure, Call of Cthulhu, Sorrow in Tsavo by Bridget Jeffries, man-eating lions stalk workers on the Kenya-Uganda Railway in this visceral 1998 scenario. So, Sorrow in Tsavo, if you do not know them, the Tsavo man-eaters. Let's see if we can get the post. The Tsavo man-eaters were a pair of large man-eating male lions in the Tsavo region of Kenya, which were responsible for the deaths of many construction workers on the Kenya-Uganda Railway between March and December 1898. This is one of my favorite real-world monster stories. These monsters, they were a real pair of creatures. They were a real pair of lions. So, and you may know them from Ghost in the Darkness specifically. A lot of people believe that, they were, plagued, or they were just accustomed to finding dead humans. The more popular one is that, as it says here, the first lion had a severely damaged tooth that compromised its ability to kill natural prey, and so it hunted the humans, which a lot of people refute. And then here, maybe it was an infection in the tooth, which made it hard to hunt bigger prey, so it went for humans. And that's where this comes in. This Cthulhu adventure for 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. I'm not entirely sure what edition it's on now. I think it's probably 7th. That makes sense. Tsavo translates to a place of slaughter. Welcome to 1998 Kenya. The British are building a railway bridge over the River Tsavo to solidify their position of trade and wealth in the region. A strategic railway will connect Uganda and Kenya with the port of Mombasa. Unfortunately, a pair of lions known as the Ghost and the Darkness are stalking and brutally killing members of the construction crew. It goes over the historical accounts of the beasts themselves and tells you the real truth of everything. You have a list of investigators now. This adventure is very of the time. There are some what's the word? Perhaps insensitive materials that you might find, such as references to slavery or things of that nature. But I think this is a great adventure. I think it has many great NPCs. I think the story of the beasts are great. I think it gets a little in the end, which we will talk about, but each character having a unique meeting. Every day your characters are meeting each other. You have locations to explore in the camp that each have their own places to speak. Camp encounters such as malaria or things going wrong. Slavers showing up. The Lions of Shub-Niggurath, these are the lions. These are the Ghosts in the Darkness. This is where I think it gets a little convoluted. While I love the idea of Thulian lions who have quills, they aren't real lions. I do wish the adventure was simply lions. I wish it was simply lions. I wish it played up the horror aspect. I know Call of Cthulhu has to have cosmic, but I wish it played up the horror aspect and it just revealed that it was the lions. just regular lines all the time. But the lines can hypnotize you and make you go towards the oasis. This tree here is the source of everything, I believe. Dark rituals. So I think this is an amazing adventure. I really do. I think it has amazing handouts. I think it has amazing information. But the actual encounter with the lions, while very cool, I think plays too much into the Cthulhian nature, and it loses me. As I said, if this toned down the nature of the cosmic horror, and it just played more into the horror of the lions, which I know again isn't Call of Cthulhu, I think I would have had fun more interest reading it. So Sorrow and Savo for Amazing Adventure. Link will be in the description below. And so now we move on to Classic Campaign. Again, Call of Cthulhu. In recent time, Chaosium on Twitter have announced that while they are eventually going to be making a Mountain of Madness for the latest edition of Call of Cthulhu, they have remastered the original version for 5th edition, which has been long out of print. And apparently you can make it compatible all the way from 1st edition to this edition, the latest edition. So Beyond the Mountains of Madness. And when I'm talking about classic campaigns, classic meaning judged over a period of time to be the highest quality and outstanding of its kind. And I cannot think of any other system other than Call of Cthulhu where that really comes into play. Call of Cthulhu and Chaosium have some of the oldest adventures to my knowledge. Here, Mountains of Madness being one of the earliest ones, 1930s. Takes place in the 1930s, my bad. Written in 1999. I think that this contends to be a classic campaign. Now, if we're talking classic as in terms of story, one that I'm playing in recently, I think, Masks of Nyarlathotep. Let's see, does it say when this came out? Not entirely sure. But Masks of Nyarlathotep, I think, is a very classic campaign. I think if people are going to talk about Call of Cthulhu, despite my limited knowledge of Call of Cthulhu, I feel like the 3 that's going to be talked about are Beyond the Mountains of Madness, which is classic, both timely, and I'm sure story. Mask of Nyarlathotep, which I am playing in, which I think is probably the mascot of 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, it would seem. And then, it is a very large campaign too. It spans multiple continents, and I think it is very fun. And I think thirdly, Horror on the Orient Express, not only for its story and for what it's based on, but this is also another very large continent-spanning campaign. And so I think when you're talking about classics, and you're talking about Call of Cthulhu, I think it goes Beyond the Mountains of Madness, Masks of Nyarlathotep, and Horror on the Orient Express. And I'm sure they are filled with amazing handouts, like right here, looking at all of this, legendary campaign, Orient Express operations. I'm sure it's all amazing. I've really only played in Masks of Nyarlathotep. This is the Call of Cthulhu that I know, and I personally think it's a classic campaign. I will pull up the campaign that we are in, that I am in. Masks of Nyarlathotep, Call of Cthulhu. We are on session 20. We've been on break for a while, but it is coming back for session 21. We've been through New York, we've been through London, we've been through Australia. We're going to Egypt now, I believe. We're all over the place. It is an amazing adventure. It's ran by the ever-amazing Matt the Keeper. All of these adventures will be linked down, so linked in the description, as well as this campaign. So you can enjoy your Call of Cthulhu goodness. When it comes to classic campaigns, I think it goes to Beyond the Mountain of Madness, Masks of Nyarlathotep, and Horror on the Orient Express. Not only for how long they've been around, but for their they're like, what's the word? They're notable. When you think of Call of Cthulhu, you probably think of these three. Their status within the world of Chaos Haven Call of Cthulhu. So that's my answer for Classic Campaign. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow I get to talk about some of my favorites, some of my most notable non-player characters. So, see you then. Goodbye and stay sweet, y'all.